classes so that our kids and our community could do well. It worked so well that when there wasn't as much pressure on providing that everyone has an equitable education and along the color lines, that when they started to remake Houston and rebuild Houston and buy and purchase and sell properties, they needed certain people to leave certain communities. So they used that same program to move people around, to gerrymander the people as well as the redistricting lines. So once they did that, it started to steal our kids. It stole our programs. And also, the thing that hurts me the most is we've been experimented on. If you go online and you look up Roland Fryer and you look up charter schools, it tells you the experiment that's going on with Harvard University. And what they've done is they have closed our schools and forced our kids to go to these other schools and attend charter schools so that they can get verifiable data to further the experiment. And it puts me in the same frame of mind as the Tuskegee experiment. And they have not offered any type of financial, academic compensation for closing our schools and providing or taking away those resources from our communities. And now they're in Austin right now, not HISD. I'm talking about people who are traveling to Austin, and they're talking about community schools. We had community schools. We had community schools in our communities, in 3rd Ward, South Park, 5th Ward. We had those community schools. Not only could you find the academics, but you could find the vocational trainings. Not only could you find that, and we talk about parents not coming up and seeing about their kids. But when you had a community school, you had things that came through the school, then the parents were there and they provided that support. Now we don't have it because it's not all because we just don't support our kids. Is that environment was created and helped created by HISD. So we're standing here, and I want to make sure that I say everything that I'm saying. And HISD has provided the means by placing inexperienced principals in schools that they want closed, removal of good academic programs and replacement with false programs like Apollo 20. Apollo 20 doesn't work. And removal of experienced administration and teachers. In the last 7 years, more than 700 teachers have been fired or released from HISD. And most of those teachers were black. Over 60% were minority. So when you don't have teachers that teach the kids and can reach the kids, then what you have is you have schools that fail. And then when you put inexperienced principals inside of these schools, what happens is they don't know what they think has no value, has value in our culture, and they take it out. And in the last 6 years, we have brought people in to replace the people who have taught the people who have made our communities. I'm a Sterling graduate in 1986. I got into this fight, and I'm gonna give you a part of my history for HISD's history. I got into the fight in 2005 because they closed my son's school down. Now, since they closed his school down, I learned that it's not just HISD, but it's some other entities. The city of Houston is Metro. But right now we're dealing with the kids. We're trying to help save our kids. In 1998, 2002, 2007, 2012, they passed bonds over $1.8 billion. I didn't say million, I said billion dollars. All of the schools that were supposed to be built in that bond that weren't in the black community, they've been built. Chavez, it doesn't take 7 years to build a high school. They've had 3 groundbreakings at Worthy. Well, the last one wasn't really a groundbreaking. It was a beam signing saying that they were about to begin building. This is what I'm saying. We have elected officials that are in offices, and whether they're with the city of Houston, the state of Texas, county officials, they're not doing anything. We have elected them to be our representatives, and we're losing. Not only don't we have schools, we don't have restaurants. Not only do we don't have restaurants, we don't have grocery stores. We don't have any of those things in the land that they want to take. And right now, our high schools are under attack. From Yates to Sterling to Worthing, all of these schools. And these are the things that are appreciated by the elected officials that are selling us out to these entities. And I'm trying to remember the quote, it's by Dr. Martin Luther King. It's not the actions of your enemy that will be remembered, but the silence of your friends. And we're being silent. We need to get out, not only vote, be everywhere. Jury duty, whatever we need to do. This is the history. This is what got us to this point for HISD. This is what's happening at Yates. This is what's happening at Sterling. This is why we have so many gangs in our own communities, because we don't base our lives in our own communities. We go outside of our communities to get the things that we need for life. And they taking advantage of it. It's just like the plantation. And I don't want to talk about the school to prison pipeline. We provide the money for them to jail ourselves. That's what we do. And if you ask, people always ask me, are you angry? Yeah, I'm angry. Because freedom ain't free anymore. It's not free. And I got people around me that are not doing anything, which is making it harder for me to educate my children. I'm an educator. I teach school. I've been teaching school for the last 20 years. It's making it harder for me to educate my kids. And I want my kids to live where I live, to be provided with the education that I have, the academics, the vocation, whatever. All kids don't go to school. They don't go to college. But they still need to be able to have a vocation. My name is Larry McKinsie, and I'm asking you, please be mad.